which can only mean one thing. It's our Monday night live stream. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great day. I've got a few things I want to chat about tonight. A few things that I want to share with you. A couple of ideas that I've got. So if you're up for it, the next hour should be quite all right. First job I've got to do is get online and make sure that I've got the chat room already on here, because I'm so old. I can't see the little letters, you know. Terrible thing to say, isn't it? Right, let's just check this is going. So what have you been up to this week? It's been a funny old week for me, I have to say. Health has been doing its normal thing. Hello, Andy. How are you? What sort of day have you had, my friend? As I was saying, I've got a few things that have been going on this week. My health is still rubbish. Still got to work on that one. But don't worry, that will get sorted. I'm at the doctor's on the 11th. I've got a scan on the 13th. So we'll sort it all out from there. But can I, first of all, just say an absolute big thank you to everyone who's sent me messages lately, because I'm so chuffed. I've had some really lovely messages from people inquiring about my health and hoping that all goes well. So I'm really pleased about that. Hi, Tammy. How are you? It's cooler there, is it? Well, it's been a bit of an odd one today. It's been bright and sunny and that, but you could say it's been a bit windy. So hopefully I've got some things I want to talk about. There have been... Hi, Jonathan. How are you? How's things down in Cornwall? There have been a few things that have been cropping up in my mind that I would like to kind of do. Before that, I've always got a before that, haven't I? You know, Substack. I'm getting a few more subscribers to the newsletter over there. If you haven't done it yet, you really need to, because every Monday I send out an email with the previous week's blogs and vlogs. And this week I've also added another video to the newsletter for today, that as the weather's getting a bit colder and we're going to be in a bit more and it's a bit darker outside, I've added a video about my 100 favourite films. So there's that on there, which may give you some ideas of something to go and watch. You never know, do you? Right, who's in it? Hi, Chris, how are you? Been to the GP today. More bloods. Know that feeling quite well. How's the weather up there in sunny Yorkshire? I hope it's been sunny. I'm changing the name. I've made a decision today. Hi, Nick. How are you? I'm hoping I feel better soon too. I'm changing the name of the Monday night live stream. I've been thinking about it this week, and we're going to call it, from next week, it's going to be called the Monday Meetup, because that's what this is. Instead of doing the thing where I come up with this plan and we're going to talk about something that's all about what I talk about on the channel, but generally this is just a meetup. We all end up chatting away, talking about all sorts of stuff. And so I figured the name change from this week, it won't be Monday night live stream. It's going to be the Monday Meetup, because it's like you've all come round and we're all having a chat, because I like that. Who's in the room then? James Chavez, how are you? Luke, how you doing, sir? I've got my thermals on. No, not yet. It's not that cold. It's sunny before it gets dark. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to call this Monday Meetup. I've got a new little thing designed for it, a little logo and all that sort of stuff, and we'll be doing that from next week. I've as you know, I've had this situation with my health, and it has gotten me down, I have to admit. But I'll tell you what, I've got to think more positively. And the reason I talk about this is because I've been reading a book on my Kindle, and it's a book by Ant Middleton, and it's called Zero Negativity, and he talks about overcoming stuff and thinking the way you think about different things. And it's certainly given me an idea for one of my next videos. But anyway, I bought these set of books. I went on Amazon because I don't mind reading a Kindle, but you can't bookmark things like you can in a book. You can't put little things on the top like I do with these ones, so I can open a page and find it. So I've been and I bought a box set of books. I expect this is all backwards on there. And I'm going to be reading that from tomorrow and trying to put into use and talking about some of the things that he talks about in here, because I think it's a good book. Even what I've read of it so far, I probably read about 30, 40 pages of it. And what I read in the first 30 or 40 pages made me think, got to get the book. But I've got to tell you about something. This was delivered about an hour ago, right? Came in a box and got the box as you do. Got a knife out, cut the box, cut the sides, got it out, got the books out. The second I got the books out, my phone rang. And as my phone rang, I put the knife down, answered the phone, was on there for 2 minutes, put the phone down, looked for my knife, it's disappeared. I've got a mystery. I feel like I should have Agatha Christie here because I don't know where my knife's gone. I put a knife down, I don't know where I put it. I've searched here everywhere, and I bet you it's just in front of my eyes somewhere. I've lost this knife. Yes, apparently he is the guy who's supposedly going to be going for London Mayor. I don't know how he'll get on, though. Steve Vowles, how you doing, Steve? Good to see you here. What's the zipper crush your mouth for there, Andy? For those of you that are looking in and wondering why I keep looking over there, there's my chat room on the monitor. It's just so much bigger, and I can go back and check things, which you can't do on here. Yes, absolutely. We don't talk about politics, but what I do talk about is people that have, people that get my mind straight. This is a book that I think can help me do that. And it's one of those things, you know, I find that the books help me. I know a lot of people say, these books are a lot of rah-rah and all that sort of thing. But do you know what? All of these videos that I've done over the years and all of the things that I've talked about on the videos have all been brought into mind by the stuff that's here. Probably as I've been getting older as well, I'm getting a little bit better at knowing what stuff is. I don't know about wise. I'd like to be wise. But Deb seems to think that I'm not wise. I'm a bit scatty. Right, let's have a look. No politics in this place, you know the rules. Yeah, so I do love a book. Does anyone in here have a Kindle and reads from a Kindle? Because we bought a Kindle years ago, and the only time we ever seem to use it is when we go on holiday. Because most of the time, I don't know about you, but I love to read a book, and I also love the smell of a book. Is that a bit weird? So yeah, got that in. We're going to have a name change on the thing. I've got a few ideas for some different videos. I want to talk about a few more films. I watched a film last night that I haven't seen for a while. The film Chocolat, pretty good. And I didn't realise until the end of it, Johnny Depp plays the guitar in the film, but there's a bit of music that as the film finishes. And I said to Debs, that sounds like Django Reinhardt to me, who is an absolutely brilliant guitarist. And it turns out that Django Reinhardt had written it, but Johnny Depp played it. And I was amazed at how good a guitar player he is. So if you ever get the chance to see Chocolat, if you haven't, it's quite a decent film, you know. Jonathan, you prefer the tactile experience of books. So do I. It's not charged, it might not work now. Yes, I've got a Kindle app on my phone. Debs uses the Kindle most of the time. I've got it on a phone. But I kind of think a book feels much better. I don't know about you. It's handy to take to the doctor's office. Yeah, I'm sure it is. I tend to sit in the doctor's office and I've got one game on my phone. It's like, I can't even think what it's called, where you match the tiles and try and clear the thing. I don't know. I'm not. It's stupid, isn't it? For someone who had arcades years ago and loads of videos of things, I can never think of a game for these. Johnny Depp was brilliant in the movie adaptation. Secret Window. I'll look out for that. Mahjong, you got it. That's the one, Andy. Do you know what? I could never. I feel like, I don't know whether it's because I've had this thing going on where I'm tired all the time, but I've started forgetting bits and pieces, like lyrics to songs that I've known for years. I've started singing the wrong words. Debs thinks it's quite funny, but there you go. Speaking of songs, a couple of weeks ago, Vinyl Dale was in the chat room that night, and he was saying to me about, you know, all these records up here, and I was saying that I always play the same few all the time. I've got go-to albums that I play, and he was saying that I should go to the albums and play some of the ones that I don't generally play and just have a taste of them, because I was on about clearing out my records but just keeping the ones, curating my collection, if you like, instead of keeping records that I've had for years that I don't play anymore and haven't played for ages. Just keep the ones that I like to play. And he said to me about it, and he was saying to me, well, I think he said it in here, that I should play all the other albums. And so that's what I started doing. I figured that from November, the start of November, I'm going to go right away across to the end of the month, and I'm going to play a load of different albums. And what do you think? Should I do a video about it, showing you the albums that I've played, talking about them and all that kind of stuff? Well, it may be of interest to you. It might not. You tell me. But what I figured was at the end of this month, I'll probably have played, going by so far, it's the third today, I've already played 6. So there's a good chance I could play 60 albums by the end of the month. And so I was thinking of doing a video where I'll just let you know what ones I've played. You watch all my videos and you see all these CDs and you see all these albums. What I was thinking is also dragging them out and let you actually see what they are, because you can see they're there, but you don't necessarily know what's in there. I thought I might share that with you. It's one of those things, you know, I'm a little music freak. I don't profess to know it all. I profess to know that I like what I like, I don't like what I don't like, and that I'm a bit of a pop-tart. Over the years, I've collected singles. Singles used to be my main thing, you know. When I was a kid growing up, I had loads of singles. I did start buying LPs as well when I was about 6. And what you find is that your tastes change over the years, because in these albums here, a lot of them I've only bought in the last couple of years. And the thing about them is that some of them are albums that used to be in my parents' collection that I hated as a kid, but I've suddenly got used to them, and I've got nostalgic about them all. And there's albums in there, there's box sets in here of artists that my parents liked, so they'll be in it as well. So I think you'll find that my record collection is all over the place. I've been watching a few vinyl collection people on YouTube and watching their videos, and they seem to be all rock oriented. Well, I'm not. There's a kind of different style. There's going to be records in here, albums and CDs and that you're going to go, wow, that's really good, James. And then there's going to be others that you go, oh my God, they're that bad, but I love them anyway. And so I was thinking about that. So shall I do it? A few of you saying yes. Well, that may be one that I'm going to do then. Jonathan, do I like ambient? Now, I don't really know what ambient is. You've got on there Eno. Well, I only remember Eno from Roxy Music. And I was reading a book recently by Bill Bruford, who was part of one of his groups, and he said that they said he's a bit of a nut and he likes weird stuff. But I can only take their word for it because I haven't heard it. Tangerine Dream, do you know what? I think I might have 1 or 2 tracks of theirs as singles or something, but I don't know a great deal about them. Jean-Michel Jarre, yeah, I've got a few of his albums, and the same with John and Vangelis. So, yep. Tammy, you'd be interested in seeing them pick an album out at random and talk about it? Well, I could do that too. I've got a question for you. As you're looking at the screen, is everything backwards? Because it is for me. And that, as you all know, I went out recently and bought myself a fancy dandy camera. And I thought that'll do for doing on the lives, because then it will show the pictures up better. Everything could be the right way around, and you'll be able to see it, and I'll be able to show you stuff. But as you're all aware, my internet is rather garbage, and it kept dropping out and kept falling away. And so I've had to go back to using my phone. And it's only when I use my phone that I find out that everything is backwards. So to show you, pull an album out and show you an album, and it all be backwards. It's horrible. I hate it when I have to see others. And it's something, it's really odd, because I'm looking at my phone now, and when I make my videos on the phone, I use the same side of the camera and everything comes out the right way. But when it's a live stream and it goes up to YouTube, it all flips and goes backwards. There's nothing I can do about it. I keep trying, but it is what it is. So let me see. Yeah. Okay, then what I will do, I'll bring out these. I may do it like a shelf at a time, and we'll go through a shelf and we'll see what they are. With these, I'll probably get them done in a couple of videos. But the one that is what I'm listening to now is going to have some of them in it, and it's got to have. You can't see them in here. Down there, somewhere, in shelves, I've got a lot of my CDs and albums all in a folder with them all put in, because they fill up so much time. And so I've kind of dragged from there. So I'll be talking about them. Yeah. Luke, that's not bad. You are allowed a life, you know. You don't have to be here. Cheers, Luke. I'll see you next time. Thank you. Maybe I should share my favourite books. I can do, because these are not my only books. In my bedroom, I've got another bookshelf like this, and it's full of other types of books. There's a book about my family, for instance. There's books about fairground stuff, which I absolutely love. And there's a whole heap of different books in there, lots of autobiographies and things like that, books about photography, you know, there's all different kinds. This shelves here are basically all my businessy type books and my self-help books. Keep them all in here because I know exactly where they are. You watched a 4-hour live stream last night. Andy, that's long. I don't know that I can think of enough to talk about for 4 hours. I struggled to get to the hour. I think you've probably noticed. I run out of this list here, right? Of all the things I'm going to talk about tonight, we've done it in 18 minutes. So I don't know that I could do a 4-hour live stream. I'm not sure that you could all put up with me for 4 hours either. So, who's had anything exciting happen to them this week? Let me know in the comments. Anybody who's watching this on replay, don't forget you're allowed to comment on there as well. You know, I noticed that there's a lot of people watch the live stream, but they don't seem to make the comments, which is odd because people comment in all the videos, but the live streams, the replay of them, tend to have less comments. I don't know why that should be. All right, I don't know. The guy asked for suggestions for the games. Blimey. Yeah, I can see, Andy, how that would possibly work. Especially if people are into that sort of thing of games and all that sort of stuff. I'm not. I don't know. Do you know what? When I have a boring half a day, not that it happens very often, but if I could come up with something that will keep you sticking around, that would be good. Question for you, Andy: do they have adverts on in their videos? Because mine, I always turn them off because I feel like it would be a stop. Do you know what I mean? We could be chatting in a thing, and then all of a sudden YouTube will put an advert in and break things up. So I've never sort of done that. I do put adverts back on it when it goes as a live stream after as a replay rather. I've never had the adverts, but apparently they are changing things so that an advert will come on and it will go on half of the screen, and then you can carry on with the live stream and people can choose which side they'd rather watch, which would mean that I'd earn some money from the channel. That'd be nice. Don't worry, we stay when we can. Do you know what? I haven't a clue what Twitch is. I've heard about it. Is it something more to do with games? Because I've seen them talked about on live stream on videos. Because I watch a lot of live streams to try and work out how to keep this thing interesting for you guys. But I've heard Twitch mentioned, but I haven't a clue what it's all about. Okay. They moved from YouTube to Twitch. Okay. I would have thought that no one would want to do that. I feel they'd have rather moved to YouTube because there's a bigger audience and there's more people watching YouTube than are watching Netflix. Try and current gaming. Okay. Oh, right. Only the live streams. Okay, yeah. So, I really haven't got. Okay, he still does his YouTube on these videos on YouTube. I haven't got loads to tell you, to be honest. I've had some ideas about videos, but it's all about music and DVDs, because I'm surprisingly getting a lot of people asking me to do more videos about DVDs. I'm not sure the best way to do it because my DVDs are all downstairs. It's easy for me talking about music because so much of it's here. But I will try and do more about that. I had a story to tell you this morning on my, well, it's not on my Substack. On Substack is a thing. I read it a lot and read a lot of others, and there's one particular guy that I follow, and he posts about music all the time. And he asked if there was a relationship between the Beatles and yourself and how they've been part of your life. Do you know what I mean? And I did a video on air a couple of years ago when I was pretty new into the channel about the Beatles and how my mum and dad used to play all their music in our amusement arcade of Burnham-on-Sea and all that sort of stuff. And I told the story of that. And I put the link on there this morning, and somebody watched it, a guy called Dan, and he became a subscriber today. So that was good. It was something a bit different for me. Yes, I did send you the Blu-ray of Bohemian Rhapsody, Jonathan. Hope you've enjoyed it. Nice that people enjoy the videos that I send them. I will have to think about doing another one at some stage. I think that what I need to do is grow the subscription base for the email that goes out every week, because then it's easier for me to talk about it rather than just blab on to people who actually don't have DVDs and Blu-rays anymore and could not care less. Hi, Dazzle. How are you? Good to see you. You've already missed loads, you know. I've talked about tons of stuff already, and we're only 24 minutes in. Do you have to pay royalties on fairground music? You have it's called a public performance license, or it was in my day. It's probably called something else. When I was doing, what happens is the Showman's Guild pay for everybody, and everybody pays a bit into it in their subs. So yeah, it's paid for basically. When I was doing DJing, I converted over to digital because it was just easier, so I didn't have to carry boxes of records in and out in the rain and all that sort of stuff. When about 10 years ago, I changed everything. Well, it's not 10 years ago, I stopped over 10 years ago. You know, you say the other week and you mean years ago. Well, about 20 years ago when I was doing discos, I changed everything over to MP3s, converted all my records and everything into MP3s, and the hard drives sit on here. And to do that, to play the music out live, you had to pay a license for that too. And well, the people who did it for a living actually paid the license, and I used to pay because you weren't allowed at the time to convert your music to MP3s. It was illegal at the time. Hello, Dale. I've just been chatting about you, my friend. I'll just recap what I was saying, because you're the person who suggested it. So what I've started doing in the month of November, you remember we had the conversation on here and you said to me about playing some of these other albums that I don't play, go-tos, if you like, and the other ones that I never get to. And you said about playing them. Well, what I've decided is in November, I'm going to play a load of my albums, as many as I can, right? Or as many as I've got time to. That's being nearer to the fact. And at the end of the month, I've already asked people in the chat room if they would like me to do a video about all the albums that I've played over the course of November. And surprisingly, most of them said yes. I've given them the warning that my tastes range from really, really great stuff to really, really poor stuff. But that's it. I like what I like. And so because of you, Dale, I'm going to do this. And thank you for the idea. We've also talked about actually pulling those out of the shelf and showing you what they are. We'll do it. That one will be a bit later, I expect. So that's about it music-wise up to date I can think of. I'm still looking at this list. Now, I've said I've talked about loads of things already and gone through my list. And I keep looking at it just in case it can spark off an idea for something that we can chat about. Dazzle, don't worry about missing bits, because it's okay for you to go and look at the repeat. Dale, you're doing a live stream Sunday. What time? What time are you doing it on Sunday? Because we have family coming round Sunday. And if it's in the evening, I'll have to think about earlier. Otherwise, I'll have to watch the replay of it. 8 p.m. Oh, they might be gone by then. If I can get to it, I will do. That'll be interesting. Because I love watching. It's a really odd thing, though. I love watching what other people have got in their collections, even if the music that they play is something that's not for me. So I'm going to try doing that. Now, I don't know if it's happened to you, but my screen has just frozen up on my computer. It's still working here on my phone because obviously my internet's rubbish again. And so if you're still seeing it, can someone just say, yes, you can still see me, because your screen's fine. That's brilliant. Thanks, Jonathan. Because, it's come back on now. Like I said, if I'd have used my other camera, we'd have crashed for the first time tonight already. So that's going, that's good. Steve Owls, I bet there's some Max Bygraves in them records. Well, let me tell you now, there isn't. Not in those ones, but there is. As you all well know, the stories of me having to play Max Bygraves albums in my dad's bingo when I was young and hating them, and then growing back to that nostalgic thing where I like them again. You might find that I may even play one of them during the course of this month. But yeah, they're sad to say, yeah, there is Max Bygraves in there somewhere. The topic is 10 favourite American British records in your collection. Oh, that'd be cool. Thanks, Dale. I'll have a look out for that. Good. I'm glad you can still see me. My computer has crashed. Yes, I have Tubular Bells. Yes, I have Dark Side of the Moon. Most people who are into music a lot of people have that kind of stuff. Do you know what? It's a really odd one because I'm not really a rock fan. Now I say this, and I see somebody earlier on. I'm just flicking up at it to see if I can see it again. Someone mentioned Yes and an album on there. I can't find it now. I think it might have been you, Steve Vowles. If you can just remind me of what the album was, and we'll talk about that. And that Fleetwood Mac record, Chris, I think you're talking about Rumours, aren't you? Yeah, I got that too. But yesterday I pulled out, I haven't played it for probably 20 years. I pulled out yesterday Deep Purple's Machine Head. And it was an album that I heard when I was at boarding school. The thing about boarding school is it's really weird because I went to school with people from all around the world, and everybody there had different tastes in music. It was an interesting thing to have because it was there that I found out about people like Jim Croce, like people by Patsy Cline, and by Deep Purple, Tommy the Who. All of those albums were when I was about 14 and at boarding school, and other people were collecting them, and I kind of learnt to know them all. I guess Tubular Bells was the first album on Virgin. You're absolutely right, Steve. What was that album? There was the album that someone mentioned on here by Yes is the album that's got Roundabout on it, which I absolutely love. You are most welcome, Dale. In fact, any of you, if you've got any ideas for me to make videos up, because I'm a bit of a lone wolf and I can always do with help with ideas for videos for the channel, because sometimes, I've got a book over here in which I write down every idea as I come to them. And do you know what's really weird? I look at them and I end up thinking to myself, no, that's no good. That's no good. That's no good. And I look at so many ideas that I think, no, I can't do that video. That will take too long to do. But if anyone else comes up with an idea, please let me know. I did a video. I don't know whether Fragile. That's the album. Yep. Thanks, Steve. I couldn't think of the name of it for the life of me. The Christmas songs one. I've already done a video of that back in time. I think a couple of years ago I done it in December, obviously, but I could revisit it. I don't think I've bought anything new to go into it, but I did a video about my favorite Christmas songs at the time. Thank you, Dale. Appreciate that. Boarding school, was I a naughty boy? No, I'll tell you what happened. The reason I ended up going to boarding school was because I probably wasn't naughty. I was probably a bit thick, if the truth be known. And by that stage of my life, my parents were in a position where they could afford to send me to a school. I did my 11 plus and I failed it miserably. My parents wanted me to go to the local grammar school, which I think, if Steve remembers as well, was called Sexeys, Sexeys, just in case you're wondering. And I was not good enough to get in there. So they had the money. My parents had earned the money and could afford to send me to a public school. They first sent me to a prep school, which was also in Burnham-on-Sea, called St Dunstan's. And the kind of people that I'm not the sort of person that comes out of those schools, because I was in school with somebody at St Dunstan's. Now, I'm from a travelling fairground family with an aide on an holiday camp. I went to school with someone who ended up becoming a member of Parliament for the Tories back in Fig. I went to school with him. So there are a few people I found out by reading John Cleese's autobiography that his school used to play St Dunstan's at cricket and sports and that. So, yeah, Steve, you found it as well, did you? Yeah, my parents sent me away, try to liven me up and get a bit of I don't know, education, because education was the thing I was interested in when I was young. I was more interested in records, if the truth be told. Right, let me just check here what we got here. Yeah, you remember that. Here's the musical equivalent of whether Die Hard is a Christmas film or not. I don't think it is. It's an action film. I don't think of it as Christmas, and it certainly wouldn't be on my playlist of Christmas films, mainly because I'm an old fogey and I'd rather watch Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye singing songs in White Christmas or Holiday Inn or the one with Bedford Falls in. It's a Wonderful Life. That's it. I'm that kind of person. I like the old 40s style films. I love all them. And our Christmas favourite, mine and Deb's that is, we have a kind of a tradition that for some reason we always watch Calamity Jane at Christmas, and it's not a Christmas film. There you go. It's the sort of thing that we do. Where am I now? Jonathan Brewer, you love Mario Lanza. Funny enough, we heard Mario Lanza this morning on the radio, and I was telling Debs that when I was a kid, my mum had a 78 of his called On the Loveliest Night of the Year. That's my claim to fame with that. Oh, I missed your question. Right, I'm going back. Where is it, Andy? It's okay at the moment. Is Münchner Freiheit Keeping the Dream Alive a Christmas song? I don't know. I don't know that song. You know what that means, don't you? It means that either tonight or tomorrow, I'm going to end up going on YouTube to try and find it to see what it is. I don't know, Andy. I don't know the song. Where else are we going? Holly and the Ivy, brilliant Christmas movie. Haven't seen that either. Everybody loves Doris Day of my age anyway. Okay. I'll check it out tomorrow. I haven't got it. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. I'll check it out tomorrow and see. Have a listen to it, and I may even put a message up on the tab saying I've seen it. So Dazzle knows it, right? Everybody knows it except for me. I've got to be honest, you know. When I was doing radio, the lucky thing about me doing radio is that I used to send my shows out to stations around the world. They were all syndicated. So I was lucky enough to be able to pick what I played on the radio. Most people aren't. And at Christmas, I always tended to leave it until the last show before Christmas, before I'd play a Christmas song, because I'm sure most people get, if they're listening to radio, they get inundated with all those same songs all the time. Whip crack away. Indeed, Steve. Indeed. 8-Bit Christmas. I've not seen that either. I'll have to check that out too. Who's in that then, Dale? I can't believe we're talking about Christmas. It's only November, you know. Oh, we're terrible. I'm terrible for getting ready for Christmas. And I think it's because I've got two sons who were both born in December. One was born on the 7th and the other was born on the 16th. So what we used to do when they were little was not do anything about Christmas until their birthdays were out of the way, because we liked them to be special, their birthdays. And so that's what we did. But if any of you know my story and have watched enough of my videos along the way, you'll know that I lost my business at the end of at the beginning of 1990. And well, it wasn't beginning, 1991. There we go. I'm trying to remember dates and things. Yeah, I lost my business and we lost everything. So my kids didn't get much for Christmas. There was a stage where my kids' Christmas presents and birthday presents came from car boot sales because we just couldn't afford it. We didn't have the money. And so, yeah, it was a bit of a rotten time, to be honest. And so we used to try and make their birthdays as special as they could, which meant that we didn't look at Christmas until after my Emery's birthday. As I say, it's on the 16th. And yours is on the 15th, Nick. There you go. Okie dokie. Yes. In fact, I had to go to the shop today, and not all supermarkets are on Christmas, because our local Tesco today, when I was in, was playing The Temptations. I heard in there on their music system, The Way You Do Things You Do. So they was playing. They're still not playing Christmas music in Tesco's by me yet. So hopefully they'll hang on for that. I've always tried to hang back with it, but it's funny, you know. As I get older, the Christmas songs that I tend to like most are things like Andy Williams and Perry Como, and so they're all like middle of the road. And I suppose it's because, I don't know about all you lot, we are doing it. We're talking about Christmas. I don't believe it. When we used to watch the telly as a kid at Christmas, we'd watch what my parents watched, obviously. So we'd watch all the films. We'd watch the circus on the afternoon. And then you'd watch the Christmas programs, which were all like middle of the road, people singing songs of joy and la-di-da and all that sort of stuff. So I kind of got nostalgic. That's it. I'm not doing it. No more Christmas. I'm not talking about it yet. It's too early. Halloween, do you know we didn't have one person knock on our door? My next door neighbour, I talked about it the other week. My next door neighbour's got 2 small sons, and I was at least expecting them to come around and knock on the door. So I said to Debs, we're going to have to get loads of sweets so we can have a pick of sweets when they come around. And nobody came around at all this time of Halloween. So we've been devouring sweets, which is no good for me, as you can see. But once you've got a stomach this size, you know, it's hard to keep it filled. You've got to keep going at it, or else it'll be flabby. I can't believe the things I talk about to you guys. I really don't. Enlighten me, Andy. Is it Cardiff you live? I've forgotten where you did tell me once. I think you said it was Cardiff. You got to watch out down there, because those Welsh people, and I know because my granddad was Welsh, he was born in Cardiff. They're a tough breed down there. If you don't get them sweeties at the Rhondda Valley, eh? How far is that from there? I don't really know, to be honest with you. The only places I know where Barry Island is, I know where Cardiff is, and I know where Newport is. Oh, and the other place where we used to go for football when I was at Weymouth, Merthyr Tydfil. That was the other place. So yeah, we didn't give away anything sweet-wise to anybody. So believe it or not, we've still got some left. So they'll be finished off today. Well, that's very kind of you. But, as I said, if you've missed me earlier on, I'm looking up here for things. If you've got any ideas for videos that you would like me to do, or at least try to do, I can't guarantee it, because you might ask me something I know nothing about at all. So if you've got any ideas, either put them in the chat room, or when you see the replay, shove them in the comments. Give me some ideas and we'll try and come up with some more for you. I'm reading a book at the moment. I quietly mentioned it last week by someone who used to be a Radio 1 DJ. Mark Radcliffe, that's it. I've been trying to think about it. Mark Radcliffe. And it's been a really good read, you know. It's not his life story or anything. It's just like chapter after chapter after the things that he's done and the people that he's got to meet. And it's a really good book. I've really enjoyed that. And I'm coming to the end of that, so that'd be 2. As I thought of doing completely inane videos. Not really, Andy. I did some odd ones at the beginning. The thing is, the problem that you get with YouTube is that unless you kind of stick to your groove, the algorithm doesn't pass it out to lots of people. And if it does, I've just turned off. They added a thing, you know, to the videos where with AI, they changed your voice into another language and changed your mouth so that it could be shown elsewhere around the world. And I noticed when I started looking at the stats the other week that I was getting videos being pumped out to countries like Malaysia and India, where people wouldn't have any interest in anything I've got to talk about. It's hard enough for me to find someone in England that can be bothered to listen to me. But they started doing that, so I've turned that off. But it's very hard to, if you don't kind of keep to your groove as such, people stop seeing your videos, because if you don't get, they'll put a load of videos, you have a video out when it first comes to the people that normally watch your video, and if they don't watch it, then it goes no further. It's pretty much dead. And that's how I know that the last video I did wasn't watched very well. 54% of people who watched it were the regular viewers here, which means that the other 46 were regular viewers to the channel who saw it, and a lot of them died. It died a quick death, that video. So we're moving forward and looking more forward. So that's really why I haven't done a lot of off the wall videos. I thought about it time and again, but I kind of don't want to blow you guys out of the way if the truth is known. I think I've talked about the community and how important it is to me, this community. And so it would be lovely if I could go off and talk about all sorts of other things and people stay. But I think if once you do that and people don't know what to expect from your channel, you kind of lose them. I know that because of the different types of things I did in the beginning. So what I stick to now are obviously the life lesson videos, music, DVD, nostalgia. Basically, it's the stuff we talk about in the chat room. Hi, Deb. I hope your premiere went well. Good to see you. Movies I would take to a desert island. How many, Dale? How many can I take? The first, if I could take 3 off the top of my head, easier 3 that I want. Field of Dreams is the first one. The second one would be Cinema Paradiso, and the third one would be Grease. All 3 of them films that I love. They'd be the 3 films that I would take with me. I've stopped looking on Facebook. I got sick of it. I got sick of keyboard warriors talking about politics and all that sort of stuff, Andy. So I kind of knocked it on the head. I've still got it. My Facebook is still there. I just don't use it anymore, if the truth be known. And I've stopped using Instagram and pretty much all my social media, with the exception of this and Substack. That's the 2 I use now. Tammy, don't worry about it. I've just seen your post up here. Videos about Dad's Army and It Ain't Half Hot, Mum. Do you know what, Steve? I wasn't a big fan of either of them. I don't know why. I met from It Ain't Half Hot, Mum. I spent an evening in the pub with Windsor Davis in Mitcham when I was about 17 or 18, and sat in there drinking with him and had a good old laugh. And he was brilliant company. With regards to Dad's Army, I never really watched it. I don't know why. My mum and dad loved it. But I did read John LeMessurier's autobiography recently. And it sort of got me thinking that, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. And so, yeah, I may end up, if I come across the Dad's Army box set, there's a good chance I'll probably pick it up and have a go. Shoulders back, lovely boy. He was even louder when he was drunk, I can tell you. Let me see who else is here. Shorts. Yeah, I know what you mean with the shorts, especially on Facebook. My wife watches a lot of Instagram and she gets loads of shorts. Now, my wife, in case you don't know this, my Debs, she suffers from alopecia and her hair went very straw-like. And so when she worked in the town in a shop, she shaved it all off and raised money for the British Heart Foundation. And she's been bald ever since. She rarely wears a wig, she wears a hat. And so she watches a lot of videos by people who've got alopecia. She watches a lot of videos, obviously, clothes and food. So it's something you might not have known. I thought I'd share that with you. Luxury item on a desert island, a bed. A bed. It would be my luxury item. I was listening to Desert Island Discs the other day, mainly because Michael Sheen did his Desert Island Discs in September. And he's a relation of mine. He's my third cousin once removed, I'll have you know. And so I kind of watched that. Let me see what else is up here. 10 British comedies video. I tell you what I did do, Dale, a couple of years ago, about the time when we first crossed paths. I did one about my top 10 favourite comedy characters. I remember doing that. And I might have done one about comedies back at the time. I'll have a look. And if I haven't made one of those, that could certainly be on the list of things to do. What I'll do tomorrow is do what I normally do, is come back and rewatch this and look at the chat room properly and scribble down any ideas that I find from it. The antique shop, Acorn Antiques, are you talking about, Chris? That's the one where Jennifer Saunders was the old lady with the shakes. Is that the one? Never the Twain with Donald Sinden. Yeah, I remember that. In fact, I think it's on. There's a channel called That's TV. I think you might find it there. Project Weaver, hello. Good to see you here. Julie Walters, that's it. That's it, Andy. Told you my mind's going to mush, didn't I? There's lots of things I could do for videos. Yeah, Dale. But do you know what? You must know this. You have got your own channel. If you like music, by the way, while I think of it, Vinyl Dale, check his channel out. He talks about music all the time. I could do with other ideas. The trouble is, I do like talking about music. And hello, Janet. How are you? So we've got a couple in here from Canada at the moment. Nice to see you here. It's a funny time of the day for anyone in Canada and America. It's like midday time there. So to stop doing what you're doing in the day to come and visit me. Appreciate it very much. And for the rest of you. Yeah, ideas for videos. I was talking about how a lot of people, they'll get awards out, and I can't be bothered to do that, you know. I've got what I did years ago, and I still do it, is for every album that I buy, I'll go on Discogs and get the picture and download it into a folder. So I've got folders with tons and tons of photos of album covers, and I tend to just nip in there because it's just easier than going and finding the LP and looking amongst them all to use that. I have a very orderly office. No, what you actually see, Janet, is the office that's in the camera. If you look around the rest of it, it's not quite the same. I'll do a video one day and show you, because there's stuff everywhere in here. The office isn't big enough, if truth be told. I'd love to have a big office, but then I'd need a bigger house. And this is as much room as I've got. Up over the top there, on the top of all these bookcases and shelves, is tons of rubbish. I tried to keep the camera down at level so that you don't see all that. So it's not the orderly office that you think it is. Let's see what else have we got here. I'm sure if I've missed some of your comments and things, I can only apologize, because I love it. The room gets so much stuff, people talking, and it's really nice. What I found it interesting is when I finish a live stream, it tells me. Yeah, that's it, Andy, you're right, it just frames. When I finish the end of a video, it tells me how many comments I got, and I'm amazed that during a live stream, during like the hour that I'm with you guys, we can get 250 comments in here, which is amazing, really. I could show a cube of records. Flip through each one and talk about them. Well, in here, Dale, I've got 3 cubes, if you like, of records. Behind me, over there, where my fan is, inside that cupboard, there's a shelf full of LPs and a shelf full of singles. And there's above that, there's a shelf full of CDs as well. And down there on the floor, there are 3 boxes of singles, a box of CDs, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 folders of CDs as well. So there's quite a lot, There's a lot of stuff in this room, and that's not the end of it, because downstairs in my living room on the floor, which my wife keeps telling me about, is a whole heap of records, just loads of them down there. So for me to go through all my records would take a time, but you know what? After the time, it's pulling them out and putting them all back in. I know that sounds lazy, but you know how it goes. But I certainly could talk about them. I did sell my collection once, not through choice though. And you know what? I've talked about this before. When I was a kid, by the time I was 11, I had 1,000 records, the majority of which were singles. I used to get them given to me by all my dad's friends who owned rides on fairgrounds. And then my brothers and sisters' friends, once they got married, started giving me their records, what they had when they were teens as well. So I had tons and tons of singles, and albums come along. Really, through my teens, I collected more albums. As anyone who saw my video the other week, there was a very few albums, but I got loads of albums, and I had thousands. But when I lost my business and I needed something to fetch money in, I had about enough money to buy a market stall to go with my trailer and my van, which I already had. And I ended up selling them, and I hated it. Every record that I sold, it was like someone had died, and then people would buy my record and I'd wave it goodbye really sadly. I hated it when my records went. This collection is slightly different in so much as when I started rebuying, it was mostly CDs, because it was the thing of the time, and I was doing discos as well, and so I built up a big CD collection. And then I transferred them all to MP3. I've still got most of the CDs. They're all laid about everywhere around here. And so selling them was a hard thing. And I've bought a lot of the albums. I haven't bought a lot, nowhere near. I've bought some of the albums that I had in my first collection. And I thought that would make me feel exactly the same about them, but it doesn't. It's a really funny thing that my collection, if you like, was my collection. These don't feel the same. And it's an odd thing. I can't understand why. But they don't feel the same to me as my proper collection that I had and sold. But the stuff that I've got around me, I still love it. I've still got it all. And I was going to sell them all once. I did a video about it, that I was going to sell all my records. And then about 6 months later, I had to make another video. about how I decided not to sell them because I couldn't bring myself to do it. When I was, in answer to your comment there, Chris, in mid 1980s, probably 84, maybe 85, I had one of those round hook blast stalls on the fairground, and it had a pick thing where you'd pick some straws out, and inside they had a number. If you got a winning number, you got one of the albums. But as a giveaway, I used to give away ex-jukebox records. I had a supplier for ex-jukebox records, and I'd go and buy them like 1,000 at a time, and they'd be all stacked around. So if you had to go and you won, you'd get a single. But it was such a pain because people would have the single and then they go, "Oh, I've just seen this one, can I swap it for that one?" And so we used to get that all the time. So it was a bit of a pain doing that. But I've still got a load of ex-jukebox singles. I had a jukebox at one stage. When I had my machines, when I bought the business, that I had machines going in pubs and clubs and that, I had a jukebox. And so that was something I loved. I wish I'd have kept the jukebox, but hey, you can't have all the things. Josh and Solder. Yes, I remember that as well, Steve. I remember that well. Good times. I could sit here and talk about this all night, but it's not fair. Mainly to my wife, because I always say I've always tried not to spend the evenings apart, because we're apart through the day because we're both doing our different things. And so I kind of try not to do too many nights. Monday's the night that we agreed that I could do this. I did ask her permission because I thought it was the right thing to do. Because I used to do live streams at 3 PM on a Wednesday, which worked well for me. But obviously, for people living in other countries, it could have been it was a pain, I know. And so that's where we stand at this moment. Once again, we've talked about records for most of the stream. We talk about music most weeks, don't we? It's an odd thing. I love having you guys here. It's fun. It's why I'm changing it to the Monday meetup, because it's more like we're having a little get together where we just have a chat. And so as from next week, you'll see me advertising for the Monday meetup. That'll be the new thing. I'm going to go now for two reasons. One, we are now over the hour, which I tried to limit myself to. And two, I haven't done it yet. So I know that's down there. So I've got to go get that. It's been fun as always. I really enjoy this when you guys are in here. It's good to talk to you all. I enjoy it every week. I never know what I'm going to be talking about. I spend all day trying to think of ideas of what we're going to do, and never quite get there. Do you know what, Chris? I would absolutely love a proper meetup where we could all get together, but we're all so far apart. Nice to catch up with you as well, Dale. Nick, thank you very much. Thanks to each and every one of you for being here. It's been fun. Even those of you that didn't get here till late, that's fine. I'm so pleased that you popped in and had a chat with us. It's good to see you all the time. And we'll be doing this again next week. I've got a video that I've got to do for, hopefully I'm going to record it tomorrow, and that will be out Wednesday. And who knows what happens between then. I will see you. It's been fun, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.